I thought I would let you know that I got away with it. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Birch and Lily, where I talk about all of the nitty crafty goodness that I have been up to over the past couple weeks. Today is episode 140. I have all sorts of really fun stuff to talk to you about today. I have a couple finished objects, a whole bunch of new cast-ons. Before we jump on in though, there are a few places you can find me on the internet. The main one is my website, birchandlilyfiber.com. You can also find me on Instagram at birch.and.lily. I have a Ko-Fi, I have my Ravelry link down below. Everything I talk about today will be linked down below in the description for you. Like I said, I have lots of finished objects. I have two, in fact. I'm wearing one right now, and then I'll do a costume change and we'll try on the other one to show you as well. But we'll start off with my Leith cardigan. This is a pattern I tested for Rebecca Clow of the Crayabea, and it actually released this past Friday. So the pattern is out right now, and it is a really nice staple cardigan pattern. I love the fit of this one. So, shall we show it off? As always, you can't really see my face. I have no other way to adjust my setup to make it so, but here is my Leith. So I did crop mine. The only thing I think I would change about this is maybe not cropping it, just because I find as I wear it, it tends to ride up a little bit. Now, when I blocked this, I didn't pin it or anything. I feel like if I blocked it again and just gave it a little pull, I could get some more length out of it, but the length is really cute with a pair of high-waisted jeans, so I'm not too worried about that. But obviously, you're like, Amanda, you're talking about all this other stuff, but this doesn't look like what you showed us last episode. Yes. I'll pop a video on the screen while I'm standing here, and I'll scooch over a little bit so you can kind of see them side by side. But I overdyed this. It was originally very Christmas looking. It is no longer very Christmas looking, and I'm really, really happy with how the overdye turned out. I think it's like a really nice fall, vintagey sort of look now, which was what my brain was thinking originally. So I don't know why I thought that just doing a straight up white for the main color was a good idea. On me, totally fine, whatever. It turned out good in the long run, and it made me feel a little bit braver about overdying garments if I don't like the color anymore, so that's kind of a good thing. But yeah, let's see. I added these buttons. These are just from Hobby Lobby. I think they literally cost me less than $1. They're just like a really nice big black button. I did end up stitching them on with black thread just because since I overdyed this, I didn't overdye any extra of the taupey color here. And so while I normally would have sewn the buttons on with that yarn, I didn't have any extra. So I figured the black thread was a safe choice. And then what else did I change? Like I said, I cropped it a little bit. It doesn't look like I cropped it if you look at the amount of stripes on my garment compared to the amount of stripes on the sample, but my stripes, my row gauge was off a little bit, so the stripes are thinner than on the sample. So that's how I ended up cropping it. I knit it exactly the same, but my row gauge is different. I also ended up having to crop the sleeves a little bit. Last episode I was talking about how they turned out way too long. I don't know how. That's on me. Something about my gauge in the round on the small circumference obviously changed and they ended up being really long. So I took off probably a good 2.5 inches from each sleeve and then just reknit the cuffs. One more thing before I sit down too, I'll show you the back. If you haven't seen this yet, the really neat thing about this pattern is the intarsia on it. So you can see that stripe down the back. Get myself resituated. So you saw that stripe down the back of it. That is intarsia, and the pattern gives you information on how to do that intarsia. And you can also stripe the sleeves if you want. I obviously went for solid sleeves, but yeah, I am really happy with it. It's very warm. The boucle is really, really warm. I like it though. I feel like the texture is beautiful. Cover my face. The texture is beautiful. And with that being said, I like the boucle. So I haven't dyed the boucle up yet on anything that's like more of a variegated or speckled color. I'm not sure if I want to or if I want to just keep it on tonals, but for now, any tonal that is available in the shop, I have added the option of getting it dyed in boucle. So if you're interested in trying boucle, I know a couple people have talked to me about it. It's available in the shop now, and it will be available on tonals for my upcoming collection. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm really, really happy with the fit. I ended up doing a size 4. I don't know what that gave me. I haven't measured this yet to figure out what that gives me for ease, but it's quite a bit of positive ease. Obviously, you can tell it's a drop shoulder garment. I went based off of what the pattern said for my bust size, so if you wanted to knit this up and get a similar ease to me, I would just go with what the pattern calls for your bust size. Should we do a costume change? And then I'll show you my second finished object. So, in the past 2 weeks, I also finished my Warp and Weft. This is a pattern from Jessie Maed Designs. It's coming out tomorrow, actually, Wednesday, September 6th. So this will be out tomorrow. It is so much fun to make. I knit this with a tonal and like a variegated, but a lot of the test knitters knit this with a tonal and a spin cycle or like a color changing hand spun type yarn, and those were beautiful as well. I kind of want to knit a second one in something like that because, oh my gosh, one of the testers knit one with, it reminds me of like candy, cotton candy kind of, but like pinks and purples and blues. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But I love how I knit mine too. Someone said it reminded them of like sailor vibes, and I kind of see it. It's blue, lots of blue. There is a little bit of like a tanny color and like a herby green in here, but they're all very, very light, and I'm not sure how well they're gonna pick up on camera. Anyways, I knit the size 4 for this. I did everything to pattern. Yes, everything on here is done to pattern, including the length of the body, and I'm really happy with it. So let's stand up. Again, won't be able to see my face, but is what it is. So you can see this is quite cropped. The pattern calls for it to be quite cropped. Obviously you could knit that longer if you wanted to. It's just going to take more yarn, of course. So I knit this out of another base that will be available in the next shop update, which is Birch worsted. This is a 100% superwash merino worsted base. There is 218 yards per 100 grams. So the pattern does call for, I think, the main color to be worsted and the contrast to be a sport. I did mine both in worsted, and I think it turned out just fine. I'm happy with how it turned out. I don't see any issues. I had no issues with knitting it, so I think it turned out great with using 2 worsted. Yeah, I knit the sleeves to length. Now on the sample, I think the sample sleeves hit here, so my row gauge must have been off again because obviously these are full length sleeves on me. But I did knit them to pattern. They have this really cool piping running down them as well as on the raglan here, which I thought was neat. And then, yeah, the body, I think, ended up being about 9 inches from underarm, and I quite like the length of it. It looks great with the high-waisted jeans. I think it would be cute as well with like a dress, like some sort of A-line cute little dress. I think it would look great on in the winter. Yeah, I think it turned out great. So, like I said, this is a size 4. Again, I chose based off of what the pattern said to do. And I do already have the bust measurements for this one, so I have about 2 inches of positive ease on this. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with the fit. I think it's cute and just another really fun classic piece. Plus, the texture on it's so cool. I don't think I've mentioned it on previous episodes, but you knit this whole sweater inside out so that your floats from your color work are on the outside when you're done, and that's how you get that really neat texture. So very pleased. I, believe it or not, I think I alternated skeins for like maybe the first maybe until I split for sleeves. And then I stopped alternating skeins on it because I just couldn't be bothered. It's a little complicated with this texture pattern, so I stopped, and I don't think you can notice it all. So I'm really happy with that as well. I still am a proponent for alternating skeins. I think it's really important with hand-dyed yarn, especially just because there can be differences, especially if you somehow get 2 different dye lots, or it's just hard to say. There can be differences, so it's important to alternate, but I thought I would let you know that I got away with it on this one. So yeah, this pattern is going to be out, like I said, tomorrow, and I think it's great. Jessie's patterns are also super size inclusive as well, so there's lots of different size options, and I think she also puts all of her testers photos up on her Ravelry project page with like what their bust measurement and their garment measurement is, just so you can kind of see how it fits on a whole bunch of different people, which I really like. So that is all I have for finished objects, but I have 4 works in progress. 1 with lots of progress, 3 that are kind of just in beginning stages, but fun to show because I have lots of new yarn to show. None that I've dyed actually. Minus there's yarn obviously in the one that you've seen before that I've dyed. But all these other ones I pulled from stash. I pulled some really special skeins that I've been hoarding that I really shouldn't and turned them into some new projects. But first one, this is in my Songbird handmade backpack. It does clip up there, but it's not clipped up right now because I'm going to be showing stuff. So this is my Reste Sweater test knit. This is from, or coming soon, from Lizzie Hester. She is also a knitting podcaster and also a doctor, which is crazy. She has time to do all this knitting, I don't know. But this is my Reste Sweater test knit. So, I can't remember where I was last time. I didn't put a progress keeper on this because I think I had so little done. I don't even think I was done the raglan, but I need to slide back. That is where I am. So the whole body's done, and I'm working on the first sleeve. Is this not beautiful? I love it. This creamy beigey color I did dye myself, which will be in the next shop update. And then these other colors here are all from Fyberspates, and I did write them all down, so bear with me as I look at my notes here. The first one is called Mithril, then Slate, then Gloaming, Aubergine, and Indigo. And I really love how they turned out. I'm happy with the order I picked. I was having a hard time with that just because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go fully from blue to purple because that would screw up with like color depth. So I ended up going that way, going from like the lightest to the deepest, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. I'm knitting the size 6 for this one, and let's see, have I changed anything? I did make the collar shorter. I think it was supposed to be about double this length, but I don't like turtlenecks. I don't like how they look on me. So I asked if I could knit that a little bit shorter, and Lizzie was fine with it. And then otherwise, yeah, I think everything is knit to pattern. It has a split hem. I love a split hem, and it is longer, as you can see in the back. And then the sleeves will just be full length in this creamy beigey color. And yeah, I have to have this done by next episode. I have until the 11th of September. So yeah, I'm not worried at all. I have lots of time. I have like a week. And I only technically need to have 1 sleeve done, but I can't see why I won't be able to get done 2. So yeah, let me move a little closer since I had to slide back to show the whole thing. It is definitely a longer sweater, but I think that'll be great for wearing with leggings and stuff, so I'm not too worried, though I am quite short. So on other people it might not be so long, but I just wanted to fold this up and show just to the texture here. So the beigey color is a skein of birch socks, so an 80-20 fingering, and a skein of birch surrey, which, oh gosh, we went through this last episode. 74% baby surrey alpaca, 26% silk. So those are held double for the beige, and then all of these colorful stripes are actually just 2 strands of Surrey. So in my case, 2 strands of the Fyberspates Cumulus. So the pattern is basically meant to use up some of your fingering weight Surrey or mohair scraps, though you could easily just do like DK scraps on there as well. I think that would work great too. Yeah, I think it's turning out great. I've been loving seeing some of the other testers as well. There's one and it's like a whole bunch of neutral shades and they're just so beautiful. Like oranges, rusty oranges and browns, and I think the body is almost like a pinky brown color, which I don't know, just beautiful. So it's been really, really fun to see everyone else testing this. I don't know when this is coming out. I know she has it kind of split up by sizes, so like sizes 1 through 5 had until a couple weeks ago. Now 6 through something have until the 11th, and I think the larger sizes have a couple more weeks after that. So yeah, I definitely think I'll get this done in time, and it's so soft. I am so excited for fall. I have so many sweaters that are ready to wear. Like even wearing my Warp and Weft right now, I feel like I'm melting, but where else am I gonna wear it? I have AC inside the house at least. I did try wearing my heirloom quilt cardigan to church a couple weeks ago, and while it was worth it being able to wear it, I melted. It was so warm, so incredibly warm, but I'm ready for fall. I'm burning a fall candle on that side. So anyways, let's move into all these new cast-ons. Oh gosh, this one is a mess because as I was carrying the bag upstairs, I didn't have it zipped up and a ball of yarn fell out and rolled all the way down the stairs. So this is my Alder sweater test knit. I have been watching Rebecca Clow of the Craybea knitting this up for a good couple months now, and just knowing that I desperately wanted to knit it. So the moment she had the test knit call come out, I applied right away and I got in, and I'm so excited. So I am knitting the size 4 for this one. 5. Knitting in size 5, and I'm knitting it out of some Explore Knits and Fibers yarn. This here is Moonstone, and this was from her Leave No Trace collection, but I creepily went through all of the photos on her Instagram, and I'm pretty sure this is Avenoir, but her Leave No Trace collection, they don't label anything, they just send it out to you. So, but I'm pretty positive that's Avenoir, like a deep aubergine purple, and then Moonstone is just so beautiful. So I have cast on, and I've got it joined in the round now. There's not tons to see, obviously, but there is, I guess it technically goes this way. There is the texture. Is it not beautiful? Apologies if you can hear my husband downstairs. He's eating lunch. But wow. I love it so much, so I'm definitely going to be getting a lot more work in on this in the next little while. You definitely have to pay attention to what you're doing. There is a lot going on, but thankfully you're only ever working with one strand of yarn at a time. There's no like holding both strands at once, so that helps a lot, but the stitch pattern is definitely not so mindless. So loving working on this. It's beautiful. I'm so excited to get to the sleeve split. I don't know what it is about sleeve splits when you're knitting a sweater. Once you get past that point, I guess for now I'm just increasing stitches like crazy, and then once you get past the sleeve split, the stitches drop a lot that you have on your needles, and then I don't know, it just seems to fly, and it's so fun after you have those sleeves in. So really, really enjoying this. I'm going to zip it up so it doesn't roll down the stairs again. It's in my Jenna Rose Handmade bag. I also casted on the teensy tiniest little bit of the Skyline pullover coming from Tori soon. A lot of these I've casted them on so they're ready to go once I'm done my Reste, because it's kind of motivating to me that, hey, this is waiting for you to work on, but I haven't got very, very far on them. So for this test knit, I'm also using some special yarn from Explorer Knits and Fibers that I've been saving. Funny enough, all my special yarn seems to be Explorer Knits. I don't know what Allie does about dyeing yarn. There's just, her style is so beautiful and watercolory and just stunning, so I covet and hoard skeins of her yarn. But I figured it's time to make some stuff out of them that I'm gonna love. Having them sitting on my shelf to stare at is not useful. So this here is Joshua Tree National Park on Rockies DK as well. And yeah, I cast on the tiniest little bit of a Skyline pullover. It is a saddle shoulder construction, and so I've cast on the first saddle here. I love that it has ribbing to it. I've never seen a saddle shoulder garment constructed with anything but like a stockinette saddle. So you knit the two saddles and they sit right across the top of your shoulders, and then you'll pick up sleeves on either side to construct the rest of the body. So that's all I have for that. Nothing terribly crazy, but ready to go once I am done my Reste Sweater test. It's in my Birch Grove bag. And finally, I was so excited. Another pattern that I have been eyeing for ages, and then crossed my fingers I would get into when the tester call finally came out. This is the Sibling sweater my size from Laura Penrose. I am using more Explorer Knits Fibers yarn for this one in the color Nutcracker and Daybreak. And so this is a really beautiful striped sweater, and it's curling a lot because I'm knitting flat right now, but I have the first two stripes in on it. It's this really neat construction to it for the increases. I just think that's really beautiful. So I am knitting a size larger than I normally would have knit, but first of all, Laura said that this would be great as a really big oversized sweater, and I've always wanted to knit something like that. So that was part of it, and then also it was the only size that was open, which sounds ridiculous, but my brain works in strange ways sometimes. So I think it'll be fine. I'm not worried at all. It's gonna give me about like 12, 13 inches of positive ease, which is a lot, but I think, like I said, I've always wanted a really big cozy throw on with a pair of leggings, and it's just like enveloping me type sweater, and this is going to be that. So yeah, I cast this on last night again just so it was started. I don't know what it is about having stuff started ahead of time that's really motivating to me. There's the yarn again. It's blowing out a little bit. There's a little bit more like pinky warmth to them in person, but yeah, I thought it was a really unique color combination, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. A lot of the other testers, and even with the sample, I think, are doing like a color and then a cream sort of color. So well, how do I put it? While I like that, I thought it would be fun for the tests to have something a little different, but also I just really liked how the colors went together. So I think it'll be really, really fun. What else do I have to talk about? Shop update wise, that's in the works. I'm working on the yarn collection, and then I also did pop some more of the ice cream cone and cupcake stitch stoppers in the shop. I restocked those, and I'm now carrying try-it-on tubing, or like stitch holder cords. One sec. They are what I use to put all my stitches on hold. I'm sure you've seen them hundreds of times by now. This tube here, so it pops onto the end of your needles, and then you can just pull the whole needle through. Maybe I'll pop, I had just put up a reel on Instagram about it today, so maybe I'll throw that down in the description. But those are available in the shop now as well. Other than that, yeah, it's a shorter video. Hopefully that's fine. Make sure you check out last week's video if you haven't. I did like a vlog style video and it was really, really fun to film. Just cleaning this disastrous mess of a craft room and preparing for all of those new projects I cast on, so winding and swatching and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So that was up last week. Definitely make sure you check that out. And yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about, so I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure you have plenty of other knitting podcasts that you're trying to catch up on. So if you haven't subscribed already and you're new here, or if you've been watching for a long time and you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit that little button down below and the like button as well. It helps the channel out a lot. And I will see you again next Tuesday. Bye!